Hello, Internet. Today we're going to look at the 10th Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider Z-Cross. Actually, he's now the 11th Kamen Rider because Kamen Rider 3 exists, so that kind of shifted everyone's numbering up by one. Yeah, that basically makes Kamen Rider 3 the War Doctor. Anyway, Z-Cross here is from a special from 1982 called Birth of the 10th, All Kamen Riders Together. I just realized I did not have a scarf on him, which is a problem I'm going to get into in a moment, but um, that special was basically like the Decade movie or the Let's Go Kamen Riders of its day, where it was just an excuse to get all the riders together and have a big fight, and it was fun for what it was. Um, Sadly, Z Cross, beyond appearing in the Kamen Rider Spirits manga, which I've unfortunately yet to read, he didn't really get his own TV show or anything after that, so he just kind of tends to pop up in other specials like the aforementioned Decade movies, Superhero Tyson, etc., etc. Um, but Z Cross here is themed after a ninja. He is a red and silver ninja. You might think that's weird, but then again, look at the cast of Naruto. Anyone can be a ninja nowadays. This figure looks pretty good. It fits Z Cross's design, or gets Z Cross's design across very well. He's got the various little kind of different lines in here. He has the scarf, which I forgot to put on first, but sadly, well, not sadly, this figure's okay, but I was admittedly much more excited for it before I actually got a hold of it. um, he has some three major issues. First of which is the silver is kind of muddy. Um, and I will, just as a comparison, hopefully it shows up well enough on camera. Here's the Renewal Kuga. And you'll notice his silver, like on the belt and the face, is much more vibrant and brighter. This one's a little duller and more muddied. I wish this guy had this silver. That's a minor issue. It's actually like three kind of little issues which kind of looked over together, but all put together, it bugs me. Second one is the scarf. It likes to fall off. It likes to fall off a lot. At the same time, when I first got it, it was so tight that I had to file down the ball joint, or otherwise this bit of plastic here between the ball joint and the scarf was stressing. So that fixed, filing it down fixed the stressing issue, but it still likes to pop out really easily, and it's very annoying. And my third issue segues very nicely into articulation. So the next fine, I'm going to remove the scarf because otherwise it's going to fall off every 5 seconds. The next fine, it's the double ball joint with a hinge or a post between, so he can just do whatever he wants. The upper body, a little bit limited. Like, you can go back this far and forward this far, that's about it, and then a little bit twisting side to side. But what kills it is, as you can notice, his upper body is very wide, and the shoulders basically go like this, and this is about as far vertically, pointing upward as you can get them, and you can't even get him like holding his arm straight out. It's always kind of at an angle. And this wouldn't bother me if he were like bulky armored rider dude, like one of the Kabuto riders in their masked form, but he's supposed to be a ninja. His post henshin pose is his arm kind of splayed across with his other one facing out this way, and not being able to mimic that kind of bugs me a lot. So just so many poses are hampered just by this bad shoulder articulation. And what I don't know, I just wish they could have found a way to like extend the shoulder out, so you could do like kind of like, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the hips here, do this, so you can get this around more. I wish they had done something like that on the shoulder. I think would have vastly improved the articulation. The rest of articulation is fine, very much like a standard Figuarts. The waist can just do whatever, and the belt's in there. The hips, as I showed, are the kind where it goes down. You go kind of like, you can have it do this if you want. Also, not my hip joint here is a bit loose, but that's probably just mine. You got the double jointed knee. Oh yeah, rest of the arm. Elbows are double jointed. They're not able to go much further than this, which is also a bummer. And then the wrist is just normal, hinged. Anyway, back to the feet. Ankle is on a ball joint. It's pretty much like all of the ones I've seen since, I want to say, O's. And there's a toe for, you know, tippy toes. But below the waist, it's fine. Shoulders really hurt it. The elbows, kind of not great, but it's not as bad as, like, if it were just the elbows, I'd be okay with it. But the shoulders just, it hurts a lot of what it can do. So, like I said, those are the three issues, and altogether, they really dampen the figure a lot for me. But on the positive side, he does come with a lot of accessories, which I'll go through in turn. So the Figuarts, he has a lot of hands. Here you can see the fist in hand and the karate chop in hand. He obviously has, well, I shouldn't say obviously because not always, but he does have, you know, two of each for each hand. Then he's got, these are the ones you actually saw before, but a calm, kind of open, mellow, waving hand, and then a also calm, two fingers slightly extended hand. I know this was, like, these were for his transformation pose on the right arm, but you can just do general stuff with him. Other hands, which are all tied to various accessories he has. So, moving on, Z-Cross has another open hand with a hole in it. This hole is made for holding this thing, which astutely you will notice is the same as his knee guard, only with a tiny red tab on it. So you pop this into his hand, and now he is firmly holding his flash bomb, which is like a grenade type thing. I believe it's called flash bomb. I could have the name mixed up, but also, to be accurate, you are able to remove his knee pads to represent, you know, he's holding one of them. Though I think in the special, he did kind of just pull one out and then magically had a knee pad reappear later. But yeah, it's nicely detailed on the bottom, and the peg makes sure he holds it really, really securely. So you can have him, you know, chucking a bomb at somebody. Next, Z-Cross has what I like to call the pinch-in hand, and that is for this tiny little piece of thing that's going to get lost. The cross Shuriken. Similar to the flash bomb, it is a piece of his elbow pad, which, you know, comes out and has spikes on it. And much like those, the elbow pads are removable. So this just goes in here, basically. And you just saw the issue I have with this thing. It doesn't like to stay very well. In fact, gravity is your enemy when it comes to this little thing. So is carpet, by the way, because it is tiny and not easy to find if you drop it. So it is possible to, like, balance it, like, yeah, like, there it is balanced. The problem is, like, if I move this figure at all, it's going to go tumbling. And if it falls in carpet, it's tiny, and you might step on it and break it, and also maybe stick it into your foot, which wouldn't be very fun. And there it goes again. That said, if you use some, like, sticky tack or something, you know, or something to kind of keep it in here, you can get some cool poses with it. And final set of hands. Also, this one's usable for an accessory too. Finally, we have the kind of open hold hands, which are basically fists, but there's a hole to slip this little thing through the micro chain. This being a tiny Kusarigama chain scythe type grappling hook type thing, which Z-Cross tends to throw at enemies and then proceeds to electrocute them. This is an actual, like, little ball bearing chain, which is a nice effect. It's a real pain to actually kind of get through here, just because the weighting tends to make the chain slip out of the part that you are trying to slide into the hand. My other issue with this is it is actually quite long. Too much, I think too much so to get, like, some real poses, though it would be helpful if you actually were trying to have it attached to something else. And as mentioned, the little, and forgive me because I have to pull this out and redo the whole thing, the little pinchy hand, as I called it, can also hold the end of the micro chain for a just about to throw it pose. So kind of like this, and then see if I can see what I'm demonstrate what I'm talking about with it kind of tending to slip out. Okay, actually went in pretty well that time. But yeah, it's, if you get this actually in here, this will actually hold a fair bit better than the Shuriken will. So, but this, like, unless you are having this extended, it is just kind of flopping here, which I guess is accurate to what it is, so I can't really complain. But this is probably my favorite accessory, just because I really dig the little, actual metal chain. So yeah, that's all his accessories, except for one. The belt buckle here can pop off and be replaced with this other model belt buckle, which has quite a bit of circuitry on, like interior detail exposed, which is a nice touch. I do not remember seeing this in the special, but I could be misremembering, or it could be a reference to the aforementioned Kamen Rider Spirits manga. Either way, it's a nice thing, and if you want that option, you have it. So, in conclusion, as I drop him again, Z-Cross is an okay figure. He has flaws, certainly. I only paid about $17 for him, and I'd probably be a bit more mad if I paid the full, like, $40 or $45. But, if you are a fan of Z-Cross, or you are a Showa Era completionist, or just a main Rider completionist, which I kind of am on my way toward, he's certainly not a bad figure. I don't think he's even the worst Kamen Rider figure I've picked, or Kamen Rider Figuarts I've picked up. So, just be wary. Like I said, there are flaws. So, that will do it for now. And until next time, keep flying down from Dragon Road. Also, don't be in silly crossovers where everyone's just kind of a jerk for no reason.